Zombies+One Person+Martial Arts+Chat group, Zhang Daoxuan traveled to Longhu Mountain and became Zhang Weizhi's senior brother. I practiced diligently every day just to defeat my own junior brother, until one day a strange sound appeared in my mind. Ding! Wudang Zhang Sanfeng joins the chat group, ding. Huang Rong from Peach Blossom Island joins the chat group. Ding. Rito Meiyuan Poison Island Ryoko joins the chat group. Ding. Xia He from all over joins the chat group. Ding. Wang Yuyan from Mantuo Villa joins the chat group. Ding. LV Su from Pixiv join the chat group. Ding. Uchilua from Wen County join the chat group. Ding. Shueyue Dongtian Hidden Cultivation join the chat group. Ding. Lingyun Cave is full of beauty join the chat group. Ding. Jiang Yuyan from Jiangfu join the chat group. Legend of the Condor Heroes, Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber, Silent Record, Mythology, 8 Heavenly Dragons, 1 Person, Water, Moon, and Cave in the Sky. Chapter 1. Joining Chat Groups. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Longhu Mountain. The morning sun shone through the thin mist towards the mountaintop. A young man lay comfortably on the rooftop, gazing at the dawn. The young man was dressed in a Taoist robe, with long flowing hair and extremely beautiful facial features. As a traveler, Zhang Daoxuan has been in this world for 16 years. I don't know where this family is, and I don't know who my parents are. Since he had memories, he has been on Longhu Mountain, with only the wooden plaque around his neck becoming his only mark. Write to Zhang Daoxuan, and this will be his name from then on. It is also a proof of seeking relatives. However, as a traveler, he never had the idea of searching for relatives. The old house, which had been around for more than 20 years in his past life, became a reality once he traveled through it. Suddenly, having multiple fathers and mothers made things very difficult, and Longhu Mountain was his home. The orphan went up the mountain, coupled with his good talent. He naturally became the first disciple of this generation of heavenly masters. At the age of 6, Longhu Mountain passed on the Golden Light Mantra, and at the age of 12, he showed his talent and was officially recruited by the old master. He passed on the 5 Thunder Correct Dharma, Yang 5 Thunder. During this period, there was an additional little Taoist named Zhang Jiwei on the mountain. More familiar names, more familiar martial arts. So, is this a world under one person? At present, he also takes advantage of this opportunity, and every time he finds an opportunity, he will use the name of teaching and guidance to use various tricks to poke the heavens Zhang Jiwei. Therefore, Zhang Jiwei practiced extremely hard and made rapid progress in his cultivation. At this moment, a figure flew down and happened to block the beautiful view of the dawn in front of us. Senior brother, it's time to go to morning classes. The person who came was Zhang Jiwei, a 13 or 14-year-old young Taoist with a smile on his face, and his eyes shining as he looked at his senior brother. Junior brother. Even if you are a master of cultivation in this world, you have only been around for 100 years. We should be carefree and comfortable. Zhang Daoxuan is lazy and has no intention of leaving. Since being brutally beaten by his own junior brother a few months ago, this junior brother always comes to him for a competition whenever he finds an opportunity, and he will seek revenge tonight. Since then, he has never won again and has been beaten 108 times in a row. This also made him realize reality, and his junior brother completely surpassed him. Sigh. I really agree with that sentence, 30 years in the East and 30 years in the West, don't deceive young people into poverty. Moreover, this young man has a high talent. So what? Genius is composed of 1% talent and 99% Han River, but these 1% talents receive 99% rewards. So, let's go. Morning classes. Have a hammer morning class. I heard it's very chaotic down the mountain now, so senior brother is not afraid of being beaten to death. Zhang Jiwei's tone was a bit unwilling. It's been a while since he last hit his senior brother, and he misses it a bit. Don't be too overt about his desire for revenge. Zhang Daoxuan wouldn't pay attention to him and lay down on his side, not even looking at him. The scenery on Longhu Mountain is beautiful, but what does it matter to me at the foot of the mountain? The world is getting more and more chaotic. Could you please come knocking on me anytime? What will senior brother do then? Zhang Daoxuan turned around with a serious expression on his face. With a serious expression, he looked at his junior brother and said, "So, junior brother, you should practice hard and become invincible in the world. The responsibility of guarding Dragon and Tiger Mountain will be entrusted to you." Speaking, he wanted to get up and pat his junior brother on the shoulder, but he was dodged by the other person. Then came Zhang Jiwei's angry voice, "Senior brother, don't you think this statement is too shameless?" The sense of ceremony was gone, and Zhang Daoxuan was too lazy to move. He continued to lie down. The voice remained so lazy, as the saying goes, a person is shameless and invincible in the world. Senior brother, just talk nonsense. The next time I come to see you, it will be Master's bamboo board, slapping your butt and making it bloom. Zhang Jiwei flew away from the roof. Walk and walk, I don't think my senior brother is doing well at all. Watching his own junior brother leave, Zhang Daoxuan sat up in a dying dream, and his image of being about to die suddenly disappeared. Reciting the golden light mantra silently in your mouth, surrounded by golden light all over your body. This ability to enter the cultivation state in 1 second is the result of his years of persistent hypnosis. The chaotic times are gradually rising, and the disciples of Dragon and Tiger Mountain will descend from the mountain to eliminate demons and demons. Zhang Daoxuan is no exception, and after practicing for a period of time, he should also go down the mountain to eliminate demons and defend the way. If one is cursed by a demon for not being proficient in learning, it would really embarrass the traveler. What's the frustration of being defeated by his junior brother and having no intention of practicing? This is just an excuse for him to avoid continuing to be abused. Well, this is a facial issue. Zhang Jiwei returned to the main hall where he did morning classes and told the old master of this generation about what had just happened. The old master shook his head and sighed. No response was made, clearly aware of all of this. The disciples who are doing morning classes below will occasionally whisper. However, Zhang Daoxuan, who was practicing on the rooftop, was also extremely restless at the moment. He was fully immersed in his cultivation, and a sound exploded in his mind, almost causing him to go crazy. Ding, congratulations on joining the welfare chat group. Ding. Zhang Daoxuan from Longhu Mountain was the first to join the chat group and automatically became the group administrator. Ding. Wudang Zhang Sanfeng joins the chat group, ding. Huang Rong from Peach Blossom Island joins the chat group. Ding. Rito Meiyuan Poison Island Ryoko joins the chat group. Huang Rong. Ah. What is this thing? Ryoko Tokushima. Zhang Sanfeng said, it's really amazing that this thing actually appeared directly in the old Taoist's mind. After stabilizing the flow of qi in his body, Zhang Daoxuan became extremely excited. Golden Finger. The opportunity for revenge has arrived now. How could the adventurer with golden fingers be suppressed and beaten by Zhang Jiwei? There are only 4 people in the chat group, including him. Looking at everyone's names, they are all very familiar, but I haven't seen them before. He didn't chat with everyone at the first time, but rather observed the chat group and explored the various functions of this golden finger. The chat groups nowadays are extremely rudimentary, except for the member box on the right. There are 2 function boxes above the chat box. Mall Backpack, Mall, Cultivation Card, Price. 1,000 points, note. Using a cultivation card is equivalent to 1 year of specialized cultivation. 8 unique skills, optional. 1,000 points, the 9 Yang Manual. 1,000 points Qiankun Great Move. 1,000 points, the 9-in Manual. 1,000 points, Congenital Skill. 1,000 points, Note. This group is a welfare group, and the maximum selling price of the martial arts is 1,000 points. Note. Group members can sell their own martial arts items to the mall to earn points. The price of points earned depends on the world in which the group members are located. Note. Items sold by group members will be automatically listed in the mall. Zhang Daoxuan was the first to open the mall, where the products were extremely simple but also very surprising. 8 Wonderful Skills, optional, the 9-yang Manual, the Great Shift of Heaven and Earth, the 9-in Manual, and Xiantian Skill are all the best works in the world where the members live. Leaving aside the latter few, the various mysteries of the 8 wonderful techniques alone make people itch and feel unbearable. Can it grow or not? What is the effect of Qi Body Source and Flow plus Ryoko Immortal Thief, and can it solve the side effects of Ryoko Immortal Thief? Chapter 2. Group Member Zhang Sanfeng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As an old bookworm in his past life, he also read many novels in various chat groups. There is no hesitation at the moment. Ding. Zhang Daoxuan sells the Golden Light Curse, points plus 500. Ding. Zhang Daoxuan sells the 5 Thunder Correct Technique, Yang 5 Thunder, points plus 800. Note. The technique sold to the mall cannot be passed on to others. Personal information name. Zhang Daoxuan Root Bone. 89 Understanding. 88 Realm. 6th rank Lower Realm Technique. Golden Light Mantra LV5, 5 Thunder Correct Technique, Yang 5 Thunder, LV 2 points. 1300. A panel popped up in my mind, with some simple summaries by Zhang Daoxuan recorded on it, most importantly, the points. A thought flashed by and the pop-up window disappeared. Zhang Daoxuan didn't pay much attention to the prompts from the mall. Apart from some trouble when accepting apprentices, he didn't find any other drawbacks. And accepting apprentices. This kind of thing is optional. Don't believe it, take a look at the apprentice Lin Fengjiao has received, there's not a single thought, okay. Suddenly, 2 more products appeared in the mall. Golden Light Curse. 500 points 5 Thunder Correct Method, Yang 5 Thunder. 800 points. There is no discount on the purchase price at all, and you can sell as many points as you want. 1 Oversold, as long as someone makes a purchase, you can make a steady profit without losing. Damn it, the dog mall doesn't give a share. Zhang Daoxuan was furious. After a burst of chatter, it was no use and he could only sigh deeply. There are quite a few martial arts techniques in Longhu Mountain, so you can search for more. There are still many opportunities for him to earn points in the future. Old Master. Rebel Disciple. Unfortunately for our sect after all, these over 1,000 points left him completely unaware of what to exchange for, and he could only continue to explore other features of the chat group, looking for other ways to earn points, such as tasks and check.in. Backpack 1 by 1, consume 1,000 points to upgrade. The backpack function is very practical, but the initial size is a little bit weak. Upgrading actually requires 1,000 points, which is even more expensive than the Secret of the Dragon and Tiger Mountain. Subsequently, he discovered the differences among the group members. Zhang Daoxuan, Zhang Sanfeng, and Huang Rong are all extremely normal. Only the suffix of the name, Tokushima Ryoko, is added with the word dungeon. With a thought in mind, a pop-up window suddenly appeared. Note. This world is a dungeon world, where a large number of humans are transformed into dead bodies. Group members can consume points to enter this world and kill dead bodies. Each killing of a dead body earns 1 point, with a maximum limit of 10,000 points. Each time you enter the dungeon world, you need to pay 100 points. Sure enough, surprises are everywhere. The method of selling Grandpa's land can be pushed back a bit. Obviously, the 10,000 points spent on monster hunting have been taken into his possession. With these 10,000 points, many things in the mall can be purchased. After all, martial arts are not expensive, and a book of divine arts only has 1,000 points. I completely forgot who was chattering just now. Huang Rong. Which means we are at different times. It should be a different world, and this concept is already present in some storybooks, said Ryoko Tokushima. Zhang Sanfeng said, I see, but why hasn't this Zhang Daoxuan friend spoken for a long time? Zhang Daoxuan said, I just explored a chat group and found that there are many divine skill secrets in the mall that can be purchased with points. Selling one's own skill rules can earn points. Zhang Sanfeng said, little friend, how can we sell the inheritance of our school lightly? Aren't we afraid of punishment from our elders? Besides, the source of this item has not been discovered yet. Zhang Daoxuan. It seems that there is the 9-yang manual in the mall just now. It only needs 1,000 points to buy it. Ding. Zhang Sanfeng sells pure Yang Wuji skill, points plus 800. Ding. Zhang Sanfeng sells Wudang Zhang Gong, points plus 300. Ding. Zhang Sanfeng buys the 9-yang manual with .1000 points. Ding. Zhang Sanfeng has been taken offline. Huang Rong. Ryoko Tokushima. Now Zhang Daoxuan is also a bit picky. Does Zhang Jinren need to be so urgent? He hasn't finished speaking yet. What Zhang Weizhi met Jiroa in the Han River, studied medicine in Butterfly Valley, taught Ming to deliver without regret, and encountered a white ape at the bottom of the cliff. In short, there are endless adventures. I don't know if this change is good or bad, but can Zhang Weizhi continue to have sexual encounters all the way and eventually become the leader of the Mingjiao sect? So should we mention these when Zhang Sanfeng goes online? As long as it's not Zhang Sanfeng from Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber. Demon sect leader, it seems that it can be said. Zhang Jinren really doesn't hold grudges. So the timeline of the Heavenly Reliance can also be inferred, as Zhang Weizhi's parents were both killed in the Xianming Divine Palm. While Zhang Daoxuan was pondering, the other two in the group were also not idle. Explored chat groups separately. Huang Rong. Unexpectedly, even the 9E manual can be found in the chat group. Ryoko Tokushima. Divine skill. What is this? The chat groups have all appeared, and it's not surprising that Ryoko Tokushima, a native of the island country, is outputting Chinese. Zhang Daoxuan said, well, don't worry for now. I haven't finished speaking just now. Zhang Daoxuan said, in addition to selling techniques to earn points, you can also enter the dungeon world to earn points. The world where Poison Island Ryoko is located is the dungeon world. As long as you think about the dungeon world, you will receive prompts. After a moment of time. Huang Rong. Dead body. What is a dead body? Zhang Daoxuan said, this is an infected human, and it can also be considered a living corpse. Anyway, it has no human nature, and being scratched by it can also lead to infection. Huang Rong. Ryoko Tokushima. So is the monster outside caused by chat groups? Zhang Daoxuan said, this is not true, but rather the world you are in should be like this. Ryoko Tokushima. Do you seem to know a lot? Huang Rong. Yes, Zhang Daoxuan seems to know everything and is very familiar with chat groups. Shouldn't you have created this thing? Zhang Daoxuan said, I don't have such skills. It's normal for a traveler to know more. Huang Rong. A traveler. Ryoko Tokushima. Zhang Daoxuan said, yes, it's a traveler. A traveler is someone who travels from their original world into the world of a script or novel, so they have a certain understanding of the specific timeline of their world. Ryoko Tokushima. The world of storytelling. Huang Rong. What a wonderful look, then we. Zhang Daoxuan said, I read your stories before traveling, but this time the story has become a reality, and some things may not necessarily be true. Huang Rong. That's right, sometimes stories in storybooks can be strange and bizarre. So are you coming to brush points? It seems that the points you consume will be rewarded to me, said Ryoko Tokushima Huang Rong. Wait a moment, I'll go get some points. Zhang Daoxuan said, I need to increase my strength. Chapter 3. Rapid Progress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Zhang Daoxuan purchases one cultivation card with a score of 0.1000 points. Since it's about dealing with monsters, it's natural to focus on strengthening oneself first. At present, there is insufficient points and it is not realistic to purchase techniques. The practice card has also been chosen for use in the Golden Light Mantra. As for why not learn the 5 Thunder correct method? After all, with no ink on the body, what beautiful scenery can be painted? Any move that wants to unleash its powerful power is closely related to its own chi, especially the more powerful the move, the more chi it consumes. The Golden Light Mantra is the fundamental technique used by Zhang Daoxuan to practice chi. With a thought, the cultivation card in the backpack turned into smoke and disappeared. Zhang Daoxuan's eyes on the roof closed slightly, and the golden light around him seemed to enter a mysterious realm. Surrounding spirits surged towards him, constantly strengthening the inner golden light. And more energy appears out of thin air, which should be related to chat groups. Therefore, the Heavenly Master did not notice any abnormalities here. Memories appeared in his mind, as if these were the things he had experienced. In his memory, Zhang Daoxuan practiced diligently every day, practicing not only the Golden Light Mantra but also the Golden Light Mantra, with no other distractions. For a moment, Zhang Daoxuan's eyes opened and golden light flowed, appearing extremely divine. Personal information name. Zhang Daoxuan Root Bone. 89 Understanding. 88 Realm. 4th rank Upper Realm Skills. Golden Light Mantra LV8, 5 Thunder Correct Technique LV 2 points. 300, is this the effect of specialized cultivation? Compared to his own cultivation, is this likely to take 3 to 5 years? Another Golden Light Curse that reaches LV10 should surpass the Heavenly Master. 4th grade Shangjing, isn't it enough to seek revenge from your own junior brother? The first time he became stronger, he thought about bullying his own junior brother, which shows how depressed he was when he was bullied a few months ago. The cycle of causality is not satisfying, and from then on, my junior brother may never have the opportunity to seek revenge again. The matter of revenge is not urgent for now. You can brush a wave of points first. The female protagonist in the world of storytelling is also extremely curious. Ding. Huang Rong sells the Donji magic, points plus 300. Ding. Huang Rong sells orchid brush hand, points plus 300. Ding. Huang Rong sells the falling eagle divine sword palm, points plus 300. Ding. Huang Rong sells jade shao sword technique, points plus 300. Huang Rong. At Zhang Daoxuan, brother Daoxuan, I have 1200 points. What should I buy? Huang Rong is extremely intelligent. When chatting just now, she knew that Zhang Daoxuan was very familiar with chat groups. If she asked more questions this time, there would be no mistake. The natural way of addressing has also changed, appearing much more intimate. Zhang Daoxuan said, let's go to the dungeon world to score points later, so becoming stronger now is the fundamental. You can purchase a cultivation card to cultivate internal skills and use the bullet finger divine power to kill the body. Huang Rong. Okay, thank you, brother Daoxuan. Ding. Huang Rong purchases a cultivation card with 0.1000 points. The effort of a cup of tea. Huang Rong. It's so amazing. A cultivation card made me instantly become a 5th level realm. Zhang Daoxuan said, since that's the case, let's go brush the points together. Huang Rong. Okay. Ding. Zhang Daoxuan enters the dungeon world and earns 100 points. Note. Group members cannot attack each other. Violators of rules will have serious consequences. Ding. Huang Rong enters the dungeon world and earns 100 points. Ding. Ryoko Tokushima gains points plus 100. Ding. Ryoko Tokushima gains points plus 100. With a flash of white light, the figure on the rooftop of Longhu Mountain had disappeared, and at the same time, a figure on Peach Blossom Island had also disappeared. As for Zhang Sanfeng from Wudang Mountain, he is currently busy rescuing his own disciple. The martial arts purchased in the group can be used by oneself or gifted to others for use. In addition, the martial arts cannot be taught. This is probably also the reason why the martial arts are cheap. Without any hesitation, Zhang Sanfeng directly gifted the cultivation technique to Zhang Weizhi. The purchase technique is extremely magical, as if someone with the highest level of cultivation has personally explained it. There are various mysterious things in every detail, and practicing it will naturally be twice the result with half the effort. Rito May Academy. The dead body has been around for a while, and the campus is filled with noise, with screams and frightened sounds constantly ringing around. The panicked crowd caused greater chaos, and the density of the crowd provided great convenience for the spread of dead bodies. Unguided crowds occasionally trampled on each other. Death can be seen everywhere on campus. One by one, the bodies fell to the ground, and after a moment, they got up again, constantly strengthening the ranks of dead bodies. In the corridor of the high-rise teaching building, 2 white lights flicker. Apart from hearing the sound, no dead body was found where the 2 appeared, as if someone had cleared them all. Looking at the girl in front of him, Zhang Daoxuan was visibly fascinated. The girl was dressed in an apricot yellow long dress, with flowing long hair, a beautiful neck, and delicate skin. Her delicate features were stunning, and she was only 2 or 8 years old. I don't know why, but after seeing Huang Rong, Zhang Daoxuan always compares her to Huang Rong in the notebook. Unfortunately, there is a huge difference between the two. How could a small hill be similar to a majestic peak? After all, Huang Rong and Mrs. Huang have little to do with each other. After a moment, Zhang Daoxuan quickly shook off the strange thoughts in his mind and clasped his fists in martial arts etiquette. Miss Huang Rong. Are you Brother Daoxuan? Huang Rong smiled and circled around him, noticeably surprised. The young Taoist has a slender figure, dressed in a neat Taoist robe, with a crown of hair and long hair draped behind him. His facial features are extremely handsome. You should know that there are not many people living on Peach Blossom Island. Since Huang Yaoshi expelled his disciples from the sect, there have been some mute servants serving them, some of whom are old mischievous children in the cave. As for the handsome ones, it's just Huang Yaoshi alone. So over the years, Zhang Daoxuan was the only handsome outsider she had seen, so she would naturally take a second glance, even though he was a Taoist. Longhu Mountain, Zhang Daoxuan. I didn't expect to actually see you guys. Huang Rong was a little cheerful, and Lien Bu lightly moved and curiously looked around. Hey, where is Ryoko Tokushima? At this moment. On the other side of the corridor, a figure holding a long knife walked towards them. It is truly a towering mountain. Anime is unreasonable. Zhang Daoxuan looked at Huang Rong carelessly. It is obvious that the curve of Ryoko Tokushima is more eye-catching. Beautiful things cannot be stopped by school uniforms, let alone the ultra-short skirts used here. Tokushima Ryoko had a smile at the corner of her mouth, exuding a sense of heroism. Her beautiful black hair flowed smoothly behind her, and her eyes were incredibly beautiful. Her dark blue eyes were as bright as the starry sky under her white eyes. The long sword in her hand is bloodshot, and it is obvious that there is no dead body related to her here. Just listen to her say, the monsters here have been led away by me. As long as the voice is quieter for a while and a half, it will be very safe, so. As she spoke, Yazi's gaze turned to Zhang Daoxuan. Captain of the team, what are we going to do next? Chapter 4. Slaying Dead Bodies. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As soon as the woman appeared, Huang Rong widened her eyes and asked with some uncertainty. You are Ryoko Tokushima. As she spoke, she looked at the woman in front of her for a moment. She was a big sister, and on this scale, she was considered a young girl. Huang Rong was the first to not believe it. Group member Ryoko Tokushima, please take good care of him. The woman withdrew her sword and sheathed it, ignoring the rude gaze of the other person. She nodded, smiled, and bowed. Zhang Daoxuan pulled Huang Rong back with one hand and nodded in response. It's really polite, then I won't be polite. Then his gaze casually glanced at Huang Rong again, as if he was saying, look at others looking at you. Who would stare at someone as soon as they meet? Are you really impolite? Surprisingly, he competed with Zhang Daoxuan for character design. Huang Rong also noticed her own loss of composure, and her beautiful eyes wandered around, pointing out the window to shift the topic. Wait a moment, there are still many living people down there. Don't we need to save them? The reason for her questioning is, these people's clothes are the same as those worn by Ryoko Tokushima, and they should all belong to the same sect. It is normal for martial brothers in the martial arts world to help each other. Upon hearing this, Ryoko Tokushima did not speak, but instead turned his gaze to the captain of the team. There is a posture led by him. This is also the social atmosphere and habit of island women, who rely on men. And Zhang Daoxuan's performance in the group is just right in line with his extensive knowledge. Upon seeing this, Huang Rong let out a breath. With her wit, she successfully broke through and turned her beautiful eyes to the captain. Zhang Daoxuan did not answer directly, but fell into contemplation. It can be said that it is a brainstorming, with memories of past lives constantly emerging and images related to silent recording constantly flashing in the mind. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. Wow! Many high mountains. In addition, there are only plastic sisters flowers, gentle scum wisteria teacher in short, apart from the group related to the protagonist group, no good person was found. So, saving someone is just asking for trouble on your own. Turning to his senses, seeing both of them staring at him, he immediately had a positive expression on his face. Cough, just the three of us won't be able to save so many people, but the commotion we create will bring in a large number of dead bodies, and some people can escape. What Zhang Jun said is very reasonable. Seeing that no one had any objections to Tokushima Ryoko, Huang Rong naturally had no objections and nodded immediately. Brother Daoxuan is right. As for the pile of questions in my mind, I will wait for everyone to become familiar before asking. Seeing that the two of them were dominated by him, Zhang Daoxuan naturally responded with a smile. It has to be said that the ancient and quirky Huang Rong really makes people feel good about her, and the obedient Ryoko Tokushima is also very good. After entering the dungeon world, several people automatically formed a small team, and Zhang Daoxuan was the team leader, which was clearly done by the chat group. It's like trying to unite the group members together. So the privilege of an administrator is to become a captain. At present, Zhang Daoxuan is also feeling a bit depressed. The administrator privileges are really a bit limited, but at this moment, he doesn't think much about it. Let's first brush the points and try his hand. This is actually a good battlefield, and you are not afraid of being surrounded by dead bodies during battles. Let's do this. I will lead the way ahead, and after the Yazi is cut off, Ronger will use her pinky magic to help this Yazi in the middle, clearing the dead bodies on this level first. No problem. Tokushima Ryoko drew his sword and responded with his back to the two of them. I don't have a problem either. Huang Rong suddenly felt something was wrong. She was a bit excited just now and didn't observe very carefully. Now the bloody smell is a bit strong. However, wait for her to think more. The previously lured dead body has been constantly swimming back, and the dead body in the classroom has also burst out. Immediately after, Zhang Daoxuan's mouth was full of nonsense and shouting loudly. "Oh, where are the demons causing trouble here? Let's see your Taoist master subdue the demons today." The sound emitted by qi has a strong penetrating power, and the dead bodies, on the lower floors, including the playground, move in response to the sound, transforming from a wandering state to a running state. Here we go, the weakness of the dead is the brain. Only by attacking the brain can they be killed. As a final reminder, Zhang Daoxuan was covered in golden light all over his body, and the golden light in his hands extended into blades. This is an ability that only occurs when the golden light curse is practiced at a higher level. The golden light is released externally and transformed into objects. Zhang Daoxuan, as an old bookworm, further directly transforms the golden light into a blade. The golden figure rushed into the crowd of corpses, wielding its dual blades to quickly pull out the remnants, and its heads flew down one by one. At this moment, the little Taoist seemed like a cruel and bloodthirsty germ killer. If someone observes carefully, they will find that the most intense part of his golden light is his head. As the saying goes, the golden light covers the face, and the divine blocks and kills the divine. The bloody scene before her made Huang Rong quickly turn her head, and the dead body on the other side had already rushed towards her. The blade of Poison Island Ryoko's sword also cut off each head perfectly. Huang Rong frowned and felt a bit uncomfortable while watching. She has been living on Peach Blossom Island for over a decade, how has she ever seen such a scene? Suppressing discomfort, Huang Rong's figure floated up and down the corridor, shooting stones through the center of the dead body's eyebrows with her fingertips, and then a cloud of blood mist exploded behind her head. Donji's divine ability as a marksman just made up for the lack of attack from Poison Island Yazi. Ding! Your team kills bodies, points +1. Ding! Your team kills bodies, points +1. Ding! Your team kills bodies, points +1. Ding! The prompt has been turned off. The killing prompts in my mind rang out one after another, and after a moment, they were automatically turned off with great humanization. Only the integral numbers on the character panel are constantly jumping. Points. 235 points. 241 points. 249. The growth rate of points is not slow. Zhang Daoxuan is like a liver emperor brushing monsters, with his hands and golden blades swinging faster and faster, never letting a fish slip through the net. The three of them made a lot of noise, and the surrounding dead bodies kept pouring in. Everywhere on campus, scattered figures who were originally hiding also had the opportunity to escape, taking advantage of the attraction of the dead body, and starting to move their positions lightly. Some are cursing at the big idiot and running wildly. Corridor. The three-person team kept pushing towards the right side. However, no one noticed that Huang Rong's pretty face became increasingly pale, and she gritted her teeth with extreme patience. She didn't see clearly from a distance through the window just now, only realizing that the way the dead body walked was a bit strange. It was only now that she realized the terrifying aspect of the dead body. The deceased's face turned blue, his eyes turned white, and the veins around his eyes were exposed, constantly roaring. This is not the most terrifying, but the most uncomfortable thing is that the dead body is not intact, and there are signs of being bitten everywhere, followed by bursts of blood and foul odor. Especially Zhang Daoxuan, who had no idea of cherishing fragrance and jade, covered the ground with broken limbs and debris. The originally snow-white walls of the corridor were also stained red with blood. Just as the three of them cleared the right corridor, Huang Rong's voice came from behind. "Wait a minute, I can't take it anymore." The sound was very uncomfortable, accompanied by pain. Zhang Daoxuan also remembered something at the moment. He even forgot that the Jianghu chivalrous women are different from the anime goddess. And, this is not a game. Moreover, at this moment, Huang Rong is only 2 or 8 years old. Whether she has ever walked in the martial arts world or not is a question. Despite this, it is truly surprising that she has persisted for so long. Zhang Daoxuan was covered in golden light and had no intention of being revoked. Turning around, the golden light blade transformed into 2 long ropes that tied the slender waists of the 2 women. They jumped out of the window with the 2 of them, and then saw the figure of the golden light borrowing force on 1 foot at the window edge. The 3 of them flew to the rooftop. The roof of the stairwell is an independent house, and there are no stairs to access. Under normal circumstances, the dead body cannot come up. Zhang Daoxuan sensed the surroundings and found that there were no dead bodies, so he withdrew his golden light. Turning her head, she noticed the abnormal situation between the 2 of them. Huang Rong's face turned pale and she was lying on the ground, nauseous. Obviously, compared to Huang Rong, the situation of Ryoko Tokushima is even more abnormal, with a flushed face and a smile of enjoyment on her face. Is this extreme excitement? So, do you want to use your ultimate move? Chapter 5. The Melancholy Huang Rong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thinking about it, Zhang Daoxuan looked at the undulating peaks of the other party, and the protagonist's ultimate move flashed through his mind. The male lead can do it, so can Zhang Daoxuan, and he has more strength. Then she glanced at Huang Rong again, her eyes filled with resentment. When this ultimate move is taken, isn't the resentful gaze likely to turn into disgust? He. If the anime is abnormal, it is abnormal. Zhang Daoxuan quickly shook off these abnormal thoughts, squatted down, and apologetically patted Huang Rong's back. Ronger, are you okay? Caring for the weak team members is what this captain should do. I can't do it anymore, do I need to take a break? Huang Rong responded with a big white eye and a face full of resentment. It's a pity that they still call you Brother Daoxuan, but they don't know how to cherish fragrance and jade at all. Score reduction, score reduction, score reduction. So what should we do in this situation? Is it written in the book? Zhang Daoxuan, who didn't know what to say, could only let her rest on her own and turn to look at Ryoko Tokushima. Coincidentally, the other party also looked at him with a curious expression. The woman withdrew her sword and asked softly, "The golden light just now?" The golden light curse is available for sale in the mall for only 500 points, Zhang Daoxuan responded with a smile. Very strong. The swordsman's words were very short, and now Ryoko Tokushima has officially recognized Zhang Daoxuan as the captain. You're also very strong. Zhang Daoxuan's words are also very brief, and what is needed at this moment is to be forced. In my heart, I added, what's more, it's not normal to be strong. Such strong ordinary people can only appear in anime, right? Obviously, the term strong here refers not only to strength, but also to inner strength. As a family member, he knew about his own affairs, and Zhang Daoxuan's golden light directly blocked his taste while greatly blurring his vision. The corpses rushing towards him were just shadows to him. Narrow at the top and wide at the bottom, cut in half at the junction, just enough to cut off each head. The corridor was filled with rolling watermelons. How had Zhang Daoxuan ever seen such a hellish scene in his past and present lives? It has to be said that Miss Huang Rong is truly a fairy-like figure. This girl has recovered a little now, but her gaze has become even more melancholic. Ronger, are you feeling better now? Zhang Daoxuan once again cared about his own team members. Don't have any problems in this heart, otherwise his guilt is not small, and he will have to reflect on it for a day or two. Humph. Huang Rong snorted coldly and ignored him. Just kidding, if you're angry, you need to calm it down. Is it okay to ask a question? As a single old house, I don't know what to do in this situation, right? The situation is unclear, it is most appropriate to treat it as invisible. Zhang Daoxuan closed his eyes slightly and looked at the points on the personal panel. Points. 312. Before entering the dungeon, he obtained a total of 1,300 points. Purchasing cultivation cards costs 1,000 points, entering the dungeon costs 100 points, and the remaining points should be 200 points. So just now, a few people killed a total of 112 dead bodies. There is still a long way to go before purchasing a cultivation card again, but it's not important as his energy is still abundant. Opening his eyes, he met the woman holding the knife and said, "Ryoko, can we continue?" "This feeling is very good." Tokushima Ryoko responded with a smile, his expression extremely enjoyable. Obviously, the emergence of chat groups made her accept her abnormal behavior. Huang Rong widened her eyes and said, "Are you two monsters?" Her legs are still a bit weak this time, and her mind is filled with scenes of blood splattering and rolling big watermelons on the ground. And these two people actually want to continue. When this question mark appears, it's definitely not that she has a problem, but that these two people have a problem. Zhang Daoxuan did not answer her, but handed her a look that you understood. Anna, little vegetable chicken. Brother, taking you on a flight is like a compensation for a mistake made just now. It doesn't matter if Huang Rong and the other two hang up, as they won't receive any points when forming a team. It's just that one person is missing in monster spawning. And Xia He can protect herself well and won't hold back. At this moment, the prompts of the chat group echoed in both of their minds. Ding, task. Don't abandon. Don't give up. Take weak teammates to earn points. Task reward. Points plus 1,000. The two of them exchanged a glance and felt clear in their hearts. Now it's even better. The first battle plan failed, officially launching the second set of combat plans. Alright, I need to zoom in. As he spoke, Zhang Daoxuan's body was filled with golden light, and his internal energy was constantly being mobilized by him. The golden light continuously condensed on the open rooftop, gradually forming a giant hammer. As he waved his hand, the golden light giant hammer also swung and fell. His goal is another staircase on the rooftop. The giant hammer collided with the building, causing the stairwell to shatter with a loud bang. Immediately after, the entire stairwell collapsed, and several stairs below were smashed down together. Huang Rong widened her eyes and looked at the disappearing staircase, then exclaimed in shock. So strong. Muttered to himself, is my dad that powerful? Coming into this unfamiliar dungeon world, she has a lot of curiosity, such as the glass on the window, or something flying in the sky in the distance she just didn't ask. At this moment, I saw Zhang Daoxuan's powerful side again, and his heart was beating a bit faster. Handsome and super strong, what's the point of not understanding how to cherish fragrance and jade? Realizing that there are a total of 12 cups of tea now, apart from being a bit strange, there is nothing that she particularly dislikes about the two of them, so everyone can be friends. As for love at first sight or something like that, it's all about seeing the color. She is definitely not that superficial, Huang Rong. Looking at the man's back, Ryoko Tokushima smiled at the corner of his mouth. What a powerful man he is. It is obvious that the two people at this moment have overlooked the existence of the chat group. His strength, Zhang Daoxuan, was all due to the addition of his cultivation card. Otherwise, with his LV5 Golden Light Mantra, and his 6th level lower realm, he would have to hit a 7,749 hammer. Master Demeanor, turn your back to both of them, and never turn back at this moment. Obviously, as an old bookworm, he understands very well. Ryoko, I have handed over the dead body that came up from the stairwell to you. I only heard Zhang Daoxuan speak in a cold voice, his figure leaping and his face covered in golden light, his hands gathering energy and turning into blades. Immediately, the golden figure floated onto the rooftop, interspersed with figures, and scattered, dead bodies, on the rooftop had already been cleaned up by him. Tokushima Ryoko flipped over and landed at the main entrance of the staircase, then slashed his blade diagonally and cut off half of the dead body's head with one blow. Then she turned around and kicked the dead body in the chest with a whirlwind. With tremendous force, she kicked the dead body back into the stairwell. At this moment, she was truly a woman in charge, no wonder. Battle Plan 2, leave a stairwell for Poison Island Ryoko to use to brush monsters, and he claims that the Thunderbolt technique of Dragon and Tiger Mountain is extremely effective in Zuanshiantai Battle A. Not only is it highly efficient in killing enemies, but it can also create movement and attract dead bodies to gather. Seeing no abnormalities in the stairwell, he turned around and gazed at the playground below. Although the level of Lei Fa is low, his realm is high. It's just about annihilating the dead body, and the realm can completely compensate for this deficiency. For example, his energy intensity is 10,000 points, while the lightning spell of LV2 gives him an increase of 2,000 points, and LV8 gives him 10,000 points. Although there is a huge difference between the two, it only requires 8,000 points of attack strength to defeat the killing body. So his attack intensity has overflow, and his attack range depends on his output to chi. Chapter 6. The Double Horsetail Girl. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Zhang Daoxuan used the lightning technique, dark clouds hovered over the playground. However, don't misunderstand. The dark clouds in the sky have little to do with his lightning technique, and the realm of the fourth level cannot yet affect the celestial phenomena. That is to say, by taking advantage of the geographical advantage, the thick smoke rolling around was turned into a ball by his chi, providing a cover for the thunder method. After all, the concepts of creating thunder out of thin air and falling thunder from dark clouds are too different. 9 Heavens Xiansha. Pooh. Then Zhang Daoxuan lightly tapped his fingertips, and a pure white thunder fell, hitting the center of the playground. The scattered, dead bodies around were blackened by electricity, and the brain died directly, with an attack range of 5 meters. Integral +1. Integral +1. His voice was very soft as he recited the spell, and the female swordsman who was addicted to chopping monsters did not hear it. On the rooftop, some young female heroes were heard, which was only considered normal spells. Both of them were very quiet. First the stairwell crashed down, and then lightning struck the playground. Such a big commotion was heard by the people fleeing around. Some guys didn't forget to look back when they were running away, and happened to be bitten by a dead body. Some guys also discovered the 3 of them. For example, there are 2 people in the opposite building, a girl with double ponytails and a creepy little chubby guy. How impressive. The little chubby man opened his mouth wide and let out a scream of surprise. Is this superpower? The girl with a double ponytail pushed her eyes and lost in thought, engaging in a brainstorming session. What is that behind him? Kendo Division Chief Ryoko Tokushima. As her gaze searched, the girl with 2 ponytails noticed the disappearing staircase on the other side of the rooftop. At this moment, the dead bodies on the playground gathered together in search of thunder, followed by a thunderous roar that killed them. Are they intentionally eliminating these monsters? Why? Why did they do this? Are you going to clean up the monsters here, or are you planning to save people? It's not very realistic to eliminate the number of monsters, but to save people. The cries for help around him did not catch the man's attention. It was obvious that the other person did not hear them, but simply ignored them. So the answer to saving people is negative. So there's only one truth. Eliminating these monsters would be beneficial for them. It is obvious that the observation points of a double ponytail girl are very different from those of a chubby little guy. In a crazy brainstorming, she guessed the goals of the 3 of them accurately, but they were almost identical. After being stared at for a while, Zhang Daoxuan naturally noticed. Little chubby people can ignore it directly. And this double ponytail girl Gao Qing Sayer, a high IQ girl with a wealthy family, had a mother who was a famous trader on Wall Street when she was young. In short, her value is very high. As the world with the highest technology in the chat group, the implied recording world. If other members want to develop their own technology tree, Takagi Saya can help them save a lot of time. Can be considered a good squeezing object. Oh. They were all familiar faces, and Zhang Daoxuan didn't mind being seen by the two. Anyway, whoever takes a photo will be struck to death by lightning. The speed at which dead bodies gather on the playground is not fast, and after being piled up on one ground, he also needs to change to another place to use lightning to strike and move. The profit brought by each attack is 20.30 points. In short, he is very leisurely at this moment. Apart from taking care of my teammates, I also need to observe the helicopters in the sky. However, there are dense dark clouds here, so obviously the helicopters will not choose this route. This is also the reason why he concealed the mine method, otherwise it would be very troublesome if he were discovered by the military of the island country. Just now, in the residential building across from him, there was a little rascal making a clicking sound, not knowing what the other person was muttering. There is indeed light in the world. However, the opponent's fate was not good, and in no time, they were physically surpassed by a lightning bolt. There is no burden at all. Apart from the few people who initially noticed on the rooftop, who else would associate the thunder falling on the playground with a young man who was enjoying the scenery? The big guys are all busy running for their lives, and as long as their team doesn't make any further noise, no one will deliberately pay attention to them. Huang Rong has almost recovered now. The figure of the female hero is agile, and the magical power of the bullets in her hand is like a hot weapon, launching one after another, and each dead body is hit by her head. The cloth bag around her waist had already been filled with small stones, and now it was shrinking frantically. 464. Without the rolling watermelons on the ground, she is adapting quickly now, which is much stronger than Zhang Daoxuan. This guy doesn't even look back now. As her mentality calmed down, her intelligence successfully occupied her brain. Huang Rong, who has a delicate heart, has officially launched. From the appearance of the chat group to the moment of killing the dead, scenes kept flashing in her mind. Just now, Zhang Daoxuan used the golden light mantra, which should be the 5 thunder correct method, Yang 5 thunder. 500 points for golden light mantra, and 800 points for 5 thunder correct method, Yang 5 thunder. How powerful should a divine skill with 1000 points be in them all? The more I think about Huang Rong, the more excited she becomes. It seems that in no time, Huang Rong will surpass the 5 wonders and become the #1 female hero in the world. How can she stop her world's #1 female hero from wandering the world when she sees her father Huang Loxi, one of the only 5 wonders? A thunderbolt still scared him to death. Thinking of the happy moment, Huang Rong's discomfort gradually dissipated, and she turned around to take a look at Zhang Daoxuan's back. Having a broad understanding. Handsome. Strong strength. Compared to the chaotic thoughts in her mind, Ryoko Tokushima was extremely pure, and the pleasure of killing occupied her entire mind. This woman belongs to the battlefield of cold weapons. With a thunderbolt falling, Zhang Daoxuan turned around and glanced at the stairwell, feeling somewhat surprised. Surprisingly, it's not full. In theory, the bodies of the two who were capable of killing should have blocked the stairwell long ago, but now there are no signs of being blocked at all, and there are still bodies constantly emerging. Poison Island Ryoko flashed. Huang Rong alone blocked the stairwell, becoming more proficient in using her finger-flicking skills, occasionally making 1 through 2 critical hits. The two people with their backs clearly did not notice that when Zhang Daoxuan turned around just now, his face was covered with a mask made of golden light. Ha! The dead were pulled out by the dead body behind them. Ryoko Tokushima leaned against the wall to rest and replied to the sound. With a long battle, her stamina rapidly declined, and at this moment it was clearly below the safe value, requiring a moment of rest. The two women took turns resting, greatly extending their combat time. Zhang Daoxuan's mouth twitched. It's really humanized. This dead body is simply amazing. Chapter 7. School Doctors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, task. Don't abandon, don't give up. Completed. Reward points plus 1000. Zhang Daoxuan looked at the 2,312 points on the panel and felt a bit confused. This task reward is too easy to come by, isn't it? The triggering conditions are also somewhat magical. It's like a chat group deliberately giving them points, and the pricing of items in the group mall is also very casual, like a welfare group. Thinking about it, he turned around and glanced at Huang Rong. The little girl's flicking fingers have all been pulled out of the shadows, so don't try too hard. It's better not to know about the task, little girl. Opportunities are everywhere, but Huang Rong didn't lose either. It's just that Zhang Daoxuan and Poison Island Ryoko made a bit more. After nearly 2 hours of fighting, both women's foreheads were covered in sweat, and the dead bodies, coming up from the stairwell, also showed signs of stagnation. The playground was also covered in charred corpses. Everyone is very tired, find a place to rest. Zhang Daoxuan suggested in a loud voice. Okay. Huang Rong nodded first. Tokushima Ryoko pointed to the opposite building and said. There is a lounge opposite, and there are very few dead bodies there. The three of them took a leap and arrived directly at the opposite building. Under the guidance of Ryoko Tokushima, they quickly found the lounge located on the 3rd floor. This building looks like an activity center. When the dead body erupted, it happened to be during class time, and only a few students and some teachers were active here. The few dead bodies around were solved by a few people casually. At this moment, Zhang Daoxuan finally withdrew the golden light curse, and immediately he smelled the fishy smell permeating the air. An uncomfortable feeling suddenly emerged. I saw him with a cold expression like a face paralyzed, staring straight at the door in front of me. At such times, I must not show any fear, otherwise the captain's prestige will be completely diminished. I will get used to this kind of thing after experiencing it a few more times. Dong dong, Teacher Shizuka. At the front, Ryoko Tokushima reached out and knocked on the door, calling out. The people inside didn't know what they were doing. The three of them waited for a while before hearing a sound coming. Is that Riko's classmate? As the sound approached, the door slowly opened and a silly and cute head peeked out from behind the door. Then all the doors open. A woman appeared behind the door. The woman is the school doctor of the college, with a silly and cute face as if she hasn't woken up. Her golden long hair is draped over her shoulders, and she is wearing a white shirt on her upper body and a black hip-wrap skirt on her lower body. Her curves are extremely impressive. Did she just wake up? Huang Rong looked surprised. It seems that there shouldn't be any mistake. Zhang Daoxuan nodded behind him. He was an old bookworm in his past life, someone who had seen the world before. He didn't find this situation strange at all. Then, Huang Rong looked at Ryoko Tokushima. So, how did this silly and cute school doctor survive? I happened to meet you, so I saved Teacher Shizuka, Satoko Tokushima chuckled softly. Ju Chuanjingxiang rubbed her sleepy eyes and happened to notice Huang Rong looking at her. Oh, it's so beautiful, heartsuit for all heartsuit. As she spoke, her eyes seemed to be filled with a small heart, and she rushed towards Huang Rong. The collision between ancient-style beauties and uniformed school doctors is truly a beautiful sight. Zhang Daoxuan just glanced twice more. Suddenly, I felt relieved and all the previous discomfort had disappeared. The old man's statement is indeed reasonable, often looking at girls is the only secret to longevity. It has to be said that Huang Rong's appearance is still impressive, just her figure it's really incomparable to the three great kings. However, it also depends on who to compare with. After all, Huang Rong is not very old and has a lot of room for development. Zhu Chuan Jingxiang's power of hitting people with the ball is not small, and Xiao Huang Rong struggled for half a day before exhaling a breath. Oh, so handsome Heartsuit for all Heartsuit. Turning her head, Zhu Chuan Shizuka noticed Zhang Daoxuan. Her eyes were small and her heart flickered again, as she opened her hands and was about to pounce. But he was held by someone and couldn't break free. Huang Rong had an expression of gratitude on her face and blinked at Zhang Daoxuan. Captain, look, I've blocked a big trouble for you. Are you serious? Zhang Daoxuan chuckled in his heart and glanced at the prominent spot of the school doctor. Big is quite big. I just don't know if it's troublesome. What a great welfare program. That's how Xiao Huangrong was destroyed. Immediately after, labels emerged before his eyes. Zhu Chuan Shizuka. She is a school doctor, has good eyesight, and is a driver. The key is that she has a good friend. Good friends need to focus on key points. Her friend has a villa in the city, a military Hummer, and a safe for weapons. Watching them speak, Zhang Daoxuan discovered some interesting things. What they say does sound like Mandarin, but if someone pays attention, you will find that their mouth shape is clearly not speaking Chinese. Although the chat group is mute. But it's really humanized. Why don't we go first, said Ryoko Tokushima with great interest as he looked at the few people behind the door. Is a lounge, which is not very large and has relatively simple facilities, including a water dispenser, TV, and a bed. Tokushima Ryoko led Jukawa Shizuka ahead. Huang Rong followed behind Zhang Daoxuan. The little girl's head protruded from the side, constantly looking at and comparing the two people in front of her, observing all the key parts. I thought to myself, do they have any secret recipe? Why are they all so big? If I have time, I need to ask Rito. During the battle just now, she noticed that the women of this sect are more majestic than her. Now this is even more amazing. It should be the sect elder. 6th floor. The girl with double ponytails and the chubby little boy hid here and kept observing their movements. The three of them flew over from the opposite rooftop, naturally falling into the eyes of the two. The double ponytail girl's eyes lit up and she said, "Are they going to the 3rd floor?" Sure enough, there is really light in this world. The chubby little man was very excited. There's no light in this world, said the girl with 2 ponytails as she heard the chubby boy mutter. The little chubby man had an angry expression on his face. Impossible, he must be light, he must be Thunder Ultraman's human body on Blue Star. If you want to break the faith of Fat House in light, even the goddess will roar to show you. Okay, he's the light. Now let's go find them. The girl with 2 ponytails looked helpless and turned her head before leaving. Really? Gao Cheng, you really? The chubby little man quickly followed behind, muttering incessantly about the issue. In the lounge. The sound of the TV is turned on very quietly. The news introduces some simple situations of the situation, which are basically things that have already been known. Is it already like this outside? Zhu Chuan Shizuka looked at the TV news with a silly and cute expression, saying surprised words, but she couldn't see any signs of worry or fear. Huang Rong, on the other hand, transformed into a curious baby and calmly looked around the room with beautiful eyes. As an ancient person, many things here made her curious. Chapter 8. The 9E Manual. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhang Daoxuan sat on the edge of the bed as if in a daze. My whole mind sank into the chat group, looking at the 2,322 points on the panel and calculating in my heart. The golden light curse of his 4th level LV8 level is not very dangerous when facing a dead body. As long as it is not attacked by hot weapons, it is sufficient. At this moment, the 3-person team that needs to enhance their strength the most is Ryoko Tokushima. Both of them received 1,000 points for the mission reward, which means that Tokushima Ryoko now has the same points as him. Thinking of this, Zhang Daoxuan opened his eyes and happened to take the water cup handed over by Ryoko Tokushima. After taking a sip of water, he finally spoke up and said, "I happen to have time now, so I can take advantage of it to purchase a martial art to learn. Does the captain have any suggestions?" Ryoko Tokushima sat beside him. Zhang Daoxuan pondered for a moment and uttered a name. The Nine Manual. The Nine Manual is extensive, profound and inclusive. The most important thing is that it contains a chapter called Muscle Changing and Bone Forging to increase talent. If there were no Gene Forging Bone chapter, it would be better to learn 8 wonderful techniques. Seeing both women listening attentively, Zhang Daoxuan explained in a warm voice. The Nine Manual contains a lot of martial arts, so when learning the Nine Manual with a practice card, there may be 3 situations. Learn the whole book, or choose a single skill, and finally, learn selectively. After finishing speaking, his eyes lit up and he continued, however, the possibility of the second option is not high, so the priority of choosing should be Gene Forging Bone chapter, Beta de Fa, and Spiral 9 Shadows. Finally, another sentence was added. The Gene Forging Bone chapter can increase the number of roots and bones. Beta Dafa is a top-notch internal skill of Taoism, and Spiral 9 Shadows is a top-notch lightness skill. Tokushima Ryoko's sword moves are not weak, what she needs now is internal power and body techniques. Ding! Ryoko Tokushima bought the Nine Manual, with 1,000 points. Ding! Poison Island Ryoko purchases a cultivation card with 0.1000 points. Without any hesitation, Ryoko Tokushima chose to trust, which surprised Zhang Daoxuan. The commotion behind her made Zhu Chuan Jingxiang turn around, only to realize the abnormal situation behind her and her eyes widened. Oh, Poison Island is shining brightly. After speaking, she looked stunned, not even curious. Then, there was no more. Seeing no one paying attention to her, she continued to stare blankly at the TV. In just a moment, the aura around Ryoko Tokushima began to crazily increase and slowly subside. 6th grade Shangjing. He. If he remembers correctly, Huang Rong only reached the 5th level after using the cultivation card. Before this, Huang Rong had practiced for many years. Huang Rong naturally sensed the realm of Ryoko Tokushima, and at this moment, her eyes widened in shock. Seeing that the aura of Ryoko on Poison Island had calmed down, Zhang Daoxuan spoke up to inquire. How do you feel? Ryoko Tokushima clenched his fist, his eyes shining brightly. This feeling is very strong. What is your talent? Zhang Daoxuan asked curiously. Root Bone 96, Comprehension 90. Note. The full value of root bone and intelligence is 100. How much was it originally? Root Bone 92, Comprehension 89. Surprisingly, it has increased 4 bones and 1 insight. It's really impressive. The closer the talent's root bone is to its full value, the harder it is to increase. The Gene Forging Bone chapter surprisingly increased her root bone by 4 points to over 90 points, which is a wonderful use. Zhang Daoxuan looked curiously at Huang Rong and said, Ronger, what is your talent? Root Bone 86, Comprehension 93. After speaking, Huang Rong looked confused and said, but didn't we just earn over 1,100 points just now? Including the 200 points we paid together, this is only over 1,300 points. Before she could finish speaking, she was interrupted by Zhang Daoxuan. Is this important? Isn't it important? Huang Rong's head was full of question marks. Suddenly, she gained 700 points more. You should know that she only earned 1,200 points after selling 4 books of unique skills. 700 points is almost equivalent to 2.5 books of unique skills. Okay. Seeing that she couldn't keep it hidden, Zhang Daoxuan could only tell her about the task. What, I just took a short break. Huang Rong's face was full of anger. Damn chat groups. Zhang Daoxuan comforted and said, if you hadn't rested for a while, the mission might not have been activated yet. Ronger, you are really a lucky star. Summary. Ha! Huang Rong sneered coldly. Aren't you curious at all about these strange things around you? Zhang Daoxuan waved his hand generously and said, just put what you like in your group backpack and take it back. The attention-shifting technique was very effective, and Huang Rong's eyes lit up. Really, of course. Zhang Daoxuan nodded confidently. Then he saw Huang Rong running towards the TV, holding it with both hands and intending to put it in his backpack. This won't work, it won't work even if you bring it back. Seeing this, Zhang Daoxuan quickly stopped him. Huang Rong was already curious about the appearance of a mirror where a villain could still speak, as it was the first time she had seen it. After a while of explanation, Huang Rong finally gave up on the TV. The final result was that she filled some glasses, as well as some magazines and comics. Ju Chuan Shizuka's dull state was also interrupted by the two people rushing around, and her gaze kept spinning along with them. Riko, your friend is curious. It's quite strange. Tokushima Ryoko gave a gentle smile, and now she is completely different from when she killed the dead body. Finally, Zhang Daoxuan himself chose the 9E manual, and the specialized cultivation of a training card directly improved the Yijin Forging Bone chapter, and Spiral 9 Shadows, to the full level. Personal information name. Zhang Daoxuan Root Bone. 94 Understanding. 89 Realm. 3rd rank lower realm skills. The 9E manual, Yijin Forging Bone chapter LV Max, Spiral 9 Shadows LV Max, Golden Light Mantra LV 8, 5 Thunder Zhengfa LV 2 points. 322 The consumption of 2000 points has greatly improved him. The root bone directly increased by 5 points, and the comprehension also increased by 1 point. Finally, the realm reached the 3rd level lower realm. Seeing him open his eyes, Ryoko Tokushima asked softly. How's it going? Zhang Daoxuan smiled with satisfaction and said, it's not bad, with 94 roots and 89 understanding, and the realm has also broken through to the 3rd level lower realm. Do you have my father's skills now? Huang Rong looked curious. Zhang Daoxuan shook his head and said, the standard of the chat group's realm is determined by the quality of qi or internal energy, that is, by the intensity of energy. It's not easy to say what your father's specific realm is. Chapter 9. Accidents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wait. The aura that erupted from Poison Island Ryoko just now seems to be not internal power, but qi. Does it seem that Huang Rong also uses qi? Is internal power and qi the same thing? It is obvious that the energy level of qi is significantly higher. Thinking to himself, Zhang Daoxuan planned to inquire about it. Ronger. At this moment, the prompt sound of the chat group rang in my mind at the right time. Note. The energy level of group members is automatically converted to the highest energy level, all member worlds. The highest level. Isn't it just internal power and qi now? So the cultivation of internal power can also be achieved by practicing qi. Halfway through his words, Huang Rong looked at him in confusion and said, Brother Daoxuan, what do you want to ask? Ronger, has your internal power undergone any changes during cultivation? Yeah, the changes that occur when using cultivation cards seem stronger and smoother than before. Huang Rong mischievously blinked. Whispering in my heart. Brother Daoxuan, Ronger can also see the prompts in the chat group. See this. Zhang Daoxuan is not awkward either, it's just a bit hot. The three of them sat in rows on the bed, with Huang Rong sitting on the right side with beautiful and lively eyes. On the left side, Ryoko Tokushima had a gentle face, while on the opposite side was Shizuka Jukawa with a silly and cute face. I feel a bit dizzy. Fairies dare to disturb my heart. At this moment, the prompts from the chat group shattered the strangeness in front of us. Ding, task. Help teammates find safe residences. Task reward, points plus 1000. Zhang Daoxuan and Huang Rong exchanged a glance. Immediately understood in my heart. Helping his teammate, Zhang Daoxuan, is dutiful. Tasks that are not important at all. Lazy, Zhang Daoxuan looked serious. There are all these monsters outside now. After we leave here, we need to find a place to rest. I follow the captain's arrangement. Tokushima Ryoko gave a gentle smile. The eye contact between the two was noticed by her, and when the first task appeared, she and Zhang Daoxuan also had the same kind of gaze. And she likes the feeling of becoming stronger. Zhang Daoxuan nodded in satisfaction and then turned his gaze to the silly and cute school doctor. It's best to have a standalone villa, he said. The implied meaning is not too obvious, but the other party clearly did not understand his meaning. A naturally dull school doctor is still dull. Seeing all three of them staring at her, Juchuan Shizuka looked surprised. I have a car, everyone can take my car and leave together. Then she dug out a small car key from her bag. Villa. What villa? She doesn't even have a villa, Juchuan Shizuka. There are all dead bodies outside, and cars can't even drive out. Zhang Daoxuan mercilessly revealed the facts. Is that so? Juchuan Shizuka looked disappointed and didn't remember anything about the villa. There is a key to the bus on the wall. Tokushima Ryoko casually pointed and directly solved the problem. Sure enough, Rito is a qualified teammate. Unlike Huang Rong, who only knows tons, the little girl holds a box of happy water in a fat house with a silly expression on her face. It's really delicious. Ignoring Huang Rong, Zhang Daoxuan turned around and directly pointed out, Teacher Shizuka, I heard from Rito that your friend's house has a villa not far from the school. He finally understood that in the face of such a natural stupidity, some things were better stated clearly. Is that so? Juchuan Shizuka was stunned and didn't suspect anything. And Ryoko Tokushima did not expose this lie. Zhang Daoxuan continued to ask, so can you take us to your friend's villa? Okay. Juchuan Shizuka nodded. At this point, dong dong, the sound of knocking echoed through the room, followed by a cautious female voice. Is anyone there? Seeing that the three of them had not moved, Juchuan Shizuka immediately stood up. I'll go open the door. As she spoke, she walked towards the door. The sound outside the door was somewhat familiar, so Zhang Daoxuan did not intervene. Ryoko Tokushima was stunned for a moment. Huang Rong now plans to become a thug and try to listen to the captain's advice in this unfamiliar place. The prompts in the chat group are very secure. Note: group members cannot attack each other. Violators of the rules will have serious consequences. At this moment, Ryoko Tokushima pulled up Daoxuan's robe. Only when he turned around did he speak. I have a task to take them with me. No problem. Zhang Daoxuan's answer is very affirmative. Huang Rong also nodded along. The door opens. There were not only two people at the door, besides the double ponytail girl and the chubby little one, there was also a girl holding a long stick. Miyamoto Lee. Looking at the two women and one man entering, Zhang Daoxuan frowned slightly and said, one less. What's missing one? His murmuring was not loud, only Huang Rong beside him could hear it. At this moment, the little girl has put the fat house happy water into the group backpack. Seeing Huang Rong's puzzled expression, Zhang Daoxuan explained softly, in the script I read, there should be another person here who is also the protagonist of this script. Is it because of our appearance? Huang Rong blinked curiously. Zhang Daoxuan pondered for a moment and thought about how their arrival would change the world. It should be due to the lack of the peak combat power of Ryoko in their team, which led to a reduction in combat personnel. It seems that there is no protagonist halo in the realistic world of storytelling, and if the protagonist dies, they will die. Huang Rong's observation points were noticeably different. Brother Daoxuan, do you think they are very abnormal? Zhang Daoxuan's observation point is also somewhat different. It's really abnormal for someone to have such a heavy burden at a young age. 87, E, 83, D, 92, F, 108, J, they are simply terrifying. Huang Rong may not be able to catch up in this lifetime, and Mrs. Huang is still around. Do we mean the same thing when we say something abnormal? Huang Rong rolled her eyes and said, Brother Daoxuan, be careful with your eyes. That's not what I'm talking about. What? Zhang Daoxuan came to his senses, are you referring to their emotions? Huang Rong nodded repeatedly and said, aren't they all afraid? Zhang Daoxuan shrugged nonchalantly. It's hard for normal people to understand the anime world, so don't bother with it. But right. How could you not be afraid? It's just that your emotions haven't broken down yet. Just as the two were whispering, Ryoko Tokushima shared his plan to drive a bus and leave, but none of them had any objections. Among the three, Gong Bunli kept her head down and her mood very low. Obviously, this incident had a significant impact on her. Double-tailed girl Gao Qingshai, with a pair of eyes fixed on Zhang Daoxuan and Huang Rong, shimmering with the light of wisdom. Little Fatty looked at Zhang Daoxuan with a look of admiration on his face, and his heart was not calm either. Light. I saw real light. Zhang Daoxuan was staring at the chubby guy and felt a little uneasy. Seeing the idea of approaching him, his eyes immediately turned cold and scared him back. Chapter 10. Unexpected Reincarnation Team. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After going out, everyone's voice should be quieter. Dead bodies have no visual sense, so most people rely on sound to find their targets. As long as they don't make too much noise, there won't be any danger. Zhang Daoxuan explained to everyone the precautions after leaving. Seeing everyone nodding, he gestured for Ryoko Tokushima to open the door. Many dead bodies were cleared on the playground, and a few people cleared some scattered dead bodies along the way. Huang Rong pointed out that the divine power was leading the way, and Tokushima Ryoko was responsible for cutting off the rear. Zhang Daoxuan doesn't need to take action at all. Breathing in the bloody smell of the air, his mood was somewhat unstable, and it took him a while to gradually calm down. Seeing Huang Rong's magical means, Gong Bunli, who followed, widened her eyes and asked softly, Teacher Shizuka, do you think Yazi and these two strangers are so strange? Hey, did Miyamoto also notice? Ju Chuan Shizuka had a thoughtful expression on her face. Just as Gong Bunli's eyes lit up, she continued, her clothes are so beautiful. I don't know where she bought them. Teacher Shizuka said that apart from being a bit powerful, there is nothing particularly special about the TikTok skill. Gong Bunli supported her forehead with both hands and felt a severe headache. After leaving the activity center, Huang Rong ejected stones and collided with the streetlights, and the crisp sound led away the few dead bodies that were already there. Until a few people got on the bus, nothing unexpected happened. It seems that there are laws to certain things. The protagonist and accidents are everywhere, and as long as there is a protagonist, accidents will definitely occur. Wait a moment. Wait for us. A group of people rushed out in the direction of the teaching building, running wildly while shouting. The shouting attracted the surrounding dead bodies to chase after them. Their movements naturally caught the attention of several people inside the car. Someone. Looking at the running crowd, Ryoko Tokushima replied, is it Wisteria from Class A for 3 years? Wisteria. This name ignited some bad memories for Miyamoto-Lee, and her originally drooping head lifted up in one fell swoop. Seeing her react so strongly, Zhang Daoxuan pretended not to know and asked, "Why, do you know him and want to save him?" "This kind of person is not worth saving at all," Gong Bunli shook her head in frustration. "This kind of person is still alive, why filial piety, oh a literary scumbag." "That's right." Gong Bunli looked up, "He's just a literary scumbag, Hiroyoshi Zaido." "Oh, I heard this kind of literary scumbag will be struck by the heavens and thunder," Zhang Daoxuan said with a serious expression, which was quite serious. Gong Bunli looked incredulous and said, "Well, how could?" Click, a pure white lightning fell, and Hiroshi Zaido, who was rushing towards the bus, was electrified and his whole body was charred with smoke. The dead Hiroyoshi Zaido is the best Zaido teacher. Really? Really killed by lightning? Gong Bunli looked surprised and opened her mouth wide in shock. Unfortunately, she didn't hear the murmuring of Takagi Saya beside her. What a wicked man. The chubby little man looked excitedly at Zhang Daoxuan's back and muttered, "Light, this is the judgment of light." The accident at the scene caused the fleeing team to stop for a moment. "Teacher Wisteria. Run quickly. The zombie is coming." With the shout, everyone came to their senses and continued running towards the bus. But there was one person who was different from everyone's panic, with no fear on his face, but rather a look of astonishment. "It's like seeing something that shouldn't have happened. Captain, there's something wrong with the situation. There may be some issues with the strategy given by that kid. What's going on?" According to the strategy, Hiroyoshi Zaido got on the car, but now he has been struck to death by lightning. What? Was struck to death by lightning? Damn it, he sold me a fake strategy for 10 million. Captain, do I still need to get in the car? In this way, all previous plans will be cancelled, and once you get on the car, you can hide and report to me anytime. Okay, Captain, make sure to complete the task. After the conversation ended, the man accelerated and caught up with the running people ahead. He was unaware, but his abnormality instantly caught the attention of several people inside the car. This speed. Zhang Daoxuan and Ryoko Tokushima exchanged a glance and remembered this person in their hearts. Huang Rong followed his gaze and didn't notice anything wrong, puzzled. What's wrong? That person is a bit abnormal. Don't reveal your name when you see the situation, Zhang Daoxuan instructed. Suddenly, a person who doesn't fit the plot appears. According to his understanding, it is either a traveler or a reincarnator. Before he could make more guesses, the chat group in his mind sent out a hint, ding, discovering the reincarnation team. Task. The appearance of the reincarnator was an accident, please eliminate or expel it. Task reward. Points plus 1000. This prompt can startle Zhang Daoxuan quite a bit. The three of them looked at each other and were about to speak. The voice of the chat group continued to ring in my mind. This event is a malfunction event, completing the task will receive special rewards, bug fixed. It seems to be an accident. Zhang Daoxuan breathed a sigh of relief and then asked in his mind. Will there be reincarnation in the future? What a dog. The urination in the chat group is like saying, what I'm prompting is what I want to tell you. You can't ask without prompting, and if you ask, you won't answer. Huang Rong. At Zhang Daoxuan, Brother Daoxuan, what's going on? Zhang Daoxuan said, it should have been an accident, the original plan remains unchanged. Ryoko Tokushima. Okay. Huang Rong. Okay. According to Zhang Daoxuan's understanding of the reincarnation, the implied record is just a beginner dungeon, so the reincarnation team that can enter is not too strong. Somewhere on the rooftop. It is also the place where the reincarnators descend. At this moment, 4 figures stand here, standing at the edge of the rooftop, overlooking the chaos below. At this moment, the leader asked. Do you think there might be an accident? Xiao Lu was injected with a C1 level gene drug, and his physical fitness is 5 times that of an ordinary person. This is just a first-level dungeon, except for the dead body, all of them are ordinary people and there is no danger. That's right. The other few people all highly agree with his words. They are a standard 5-person reincarnation team, and the team's name is not small among the reincarnators, known as the Gowon team. Before this, their team had gone through dozens of life dungeons in total. After completing the previous instance, they all completed the injection of gene potions and purchased the instant strategy. After feeling foolproof, I chose to enter the dangerous dungeon of the implied record. They have great confidence in their own strength.